Good day to all those attending the Living with Lewy session. My name is Helen Bundy Metzger. I am a former LBD caregiver for 2 generations of my family, a current LBD advocate, a peer mentor, and support group facilitator in the United States. Today, we are speaking with Kevin Quaid from County Limerick, Ireland, who was diagnosed at the age of 53 with young onset Lewy body dementia. Kevin, though, has not sat idle since learning of his diagnosis and has devoted himself to working to destigmatize dementia. He has become a staunch advocate for those living with progressive neurocognitive diseases and currently is a member of the Irish Dementia Working Group, vice chair of the European Working Group of People with Dementia, co-founder of Lewy Body Ireland, and the author of 2 books chronicling his journey with Lewy. His first book, Lewy Body Dementia, Survival and Me, was the first book ever written by someone diagnosed with Lewy body. He has since completed the recently released I Am Kevin, Not Lewy. Welcome, Kevin.
Thanks, Helen. It's so good to be here. It really is a Lewy body conference. I never thought I'd live to see today.
I know. We're both blessed, aren't we? So our topic today, our topic today is sleep, the lived experience. As many of you are aware, sleep disorders known as parasomnias are common in Lewy body dementia. In fact, the most prominent one we will address today is REM sleep behavior disorder, and it's referred to as both RSBD or RBD. According to the Sleep Foundation, REM sleep behavior disorder is a condition characterized by sudden body movements and vocalizations while a person experiences vivid dreams during their REM sleep cycle. During normal REM sleep, the body experiences temporary muscle paralysis. It's known as atonia. While the brain slows, activity similar to wakefulness occurs. Blood pressure rises, breathing becomes irregular, and the eyes dart in all directions, hence the term rapid eye movement. The temporary paralysis of REM sleep allows us to dream safely, lying still while the brain is still active. But for individuals with REM sleep behavior disorder, normal muscle paralysis doesn't occur, enabling the person to physically act out their dreams. REM sleep RBD can manifest as small muscle twitches and quiet sleep talking to loud shouting, to punching, to kicking, grabbing their bed partner, and jumping out of bed. Interestingly, the dreams associated with REM sleep behavior disorder are often intense and frightening. Individuals may dream about being chased or attacked, and they can unknowingly enact the dream in real life. Most individuals who experience RBD do so several years prior to diagnosis of their Lewy body disease. So Kevin, please tell us when and how you first experienced REM sleep disorder. What were your first symptoms?
It was something I was thinking about today, and thinking back on it, I think it was probably my early 50s because I have a sleep apnea machine at night, which I'll speak about a bit in a moment. But before that, I was having nights where I'd have very disturbing, what I call nightmares. And I wondered in the following day, why did I dream like that? Or I put it down to me, I'd be a bad day at work or something like that. And that was in my very early 50s, maybe say 49, 50. And they progressed. And I was diagnosed with Parkinson's first. And then I was diagnosed at 53 with Lewy body disease. And they had got progressively worse at that stage.
All right. So I know that it's important to report these types of symptoms to your physician. And if available, they may schedule you for an overnight sleep study called a polysomnography. Did you go through a sleep study? What was it like?
One thing about it is I did, but not after being diagnosed with Lewy body disease. It was long before when I had the sleep apnea, and I also had asthma, and I had the REM sleep behavior disorder, and I was moving around so much in the bed, and they wanted to know what was going on. So I had that study then.
Okay.
But like a lot of things, I never really got an answer until I was diagnosed.
Ah.
When I went to my neurologist and I talked to her about the hallucinations and the nightmares and that, even before I went for the DET scan, she knew what was wrong with me. She knew what was the cause.
Oh my. So historically, you'd already had the sleep study, and then tying that together with all your other symptoms brought around the diagnosis.
Yeah, but it took years to complete the
cycle. My goodness. I think that's probably common with most everybody. It takes a while to connect those dots. So over the years, how did your RBD manifest itself?
I'd love to tell everyone they got better, but they haven't. And I often say to Helena, who's my wife and my full-time carer, I wonder what hell are they going to send me to tonight?
Yeah.
Because the dreams or the nightmares, or whatever you want to call them, are as real as I'm sitting here today, I'm looking at you today. They're that vivid, they're that clear. I don't want to upset anyone, and I don't want to make anyone feel ill or bad, but it's constantly about I'm murdering someone. Or as late as the other night, I had one where I was trying to strangle this woman and I couldn't hear her neck snap. There was a night that I had murdered someone, and I had wrapped the body in plastic and buried it. And I remember moving it one night. I can, as I speak to you, I can remember it now as clear as day.
Yeah.
And the smell. I got up the following morning at 9 o'clock. And at 3 o'clock that evening, I was wide awake. I was sitting up on the couch. At 3 o'clock that evening, my wife had to go to the health shop to get orange essence oil and put them to the bottom of my nose to get rid of the smell of the rotten crops. I had no idea what a rotten crop smells like, but that's what was in my head. And I kept thinking to myself, oh my God, I have friends in the police, I have friends who are businessmen, if they knew what I was after doing. And for a long time during the day, dim dreams will stay with me. And I'm wondering which is real and which is not real. So you have to cope with it. No, I don't have them every single night, but every night I do have dreams that disturb me. There are nights where I'll wake and I just crawl up like that in the bed and I will cry because I will not know who I am. I will not know where I am. Yeah. I will not know who's alongside me, and I'm terrified to ask. Yeah. And that is, it's frightening. It's very, very frightening. And for anyone that has Lewy body dementia, they know the fear that goes with it anyway. So you add this into it as well. And it's hard to believe it, isn't it? And I'm speaking today that I can be that way maybe in 5 or 6 hours time when I go to bed.
Right. Yes. Well, I just wonder, I'm sure that this has also been hard on your wife, Helena. So what accommodations have the two of you had to make to be able to have you and she sleep safely?
Well, there's one machine I spoke about earlier, the sleep apnea machine. I have that from the side of my bed. There's a hose in that. So it kind of limits my movement as such. And to be honest with you, I think Helena kind of sleeps with one eye open. There are days that she is exhausted and she will go to sleep on the couch. But we have done, when I wrote my first book, Lewy Body Dementia Survival and Me, as a family, we sat down and we did our forward planning, right?
Very good.
Unfortunately, if I act out one of these nightmares and I accidentally hit Helena, because it would never be on purpose.
Yeah.
It wasn't the way I was reared. I believe a man should never lay a hand on a woman in anger. End of story. That conversation is over. It doesn't go any further. But if I do, then we have decided we go to separate bedrooms. And if it gets to a stage where I do during the day when I'm like I am now, then I have to go to a care home facility. Not only do I know it, my wife knows it, and my kids know it. We have that discussion made. And everyone should do forward planning anyway. But we have that done.
Kevin, I think that is huge advice for people to have the discussions early on. It makes it less of a crisis when things come about. So I commend you and your family.
Yeah, well, you see, I've 3 kids, I've three stepkids. Half of our family are in Australia, half of our family are here. Can you imagine the day that I would get violent? Mm-hmm. Then the kids in Australia have to be contacted, a meeting has to be had. What do we do with Dad? We don't know what he wants. He's not feeling great. He's not making sense. The decisions are made.
Yeah.
They know what I want.
Yeah.
You know, everything is in place. And it's a load off for my back. It's a load off of Helena's back.
Yeah.
And it's a load off my kids' back.
Again, I commend you all for being very forward thinking. It's wise. So I'm wondering though, so you and Helena have come up with your strategies, but what has your doctor been able to provide in the way of any therapies to kind of help lessen the severity of your RBD?
Well, I'm only on two medications at night. I take Rivotril. Mm-hmm. I started off this time last year. I think I was only on 2, the 0.5. Okay. I'm now on 8. I can go as far as 14, so it's a little bit frightening that the scale is tipped. And I'm on one donizepam for my hallucinations. And the thing about them is, when my neurologist increases the dose of them, it lessens the severity of the nightmares. So is that I'm going to her again shortly, and I know that she will increase the dose ever so slightly. But there's little things, there's very, very simple little things that you can do. Is that when I wake in the middle of the night, I used to wake in a completely dark room. I no longer do that. We have this night light that changes color. So if I walk to the ordinary, when I wake and I'm so afraid that I don't know where I am, and there's this white light, then it goes red, then it goes yellow, then it goes blue, then it goes green. Believe it or not, that brings me back. That gets my mind thinking, what is this? Do I remember where I am? Do I remember who I am? But I still might not know who Helena is.
Yes.
But it's her voice that reassures me. And all she has to do is say that I'm okay and that I'm safe.
Very good. Verbal cueing. Yes. Yeah, verbal cueing and the auditory sense can not always, but it's a great strategy for a variety of things within Lewy body symptoms. So some people step out of the room just because the visual cue isn't always accurate, but auditory cues tend to have more success. So that's great. You've worked on some things. So I'm wondering, I know we need to wrap up here in a moment. So I'm just wondering, do you have any additional advice for those here today?
Don't ever go to bed without your iPhone alongside you and something like Netflix and a comedy. Because I will tell you this much, The Big Bang Theory has 12 years. There isn't an episode I can't quote a line in. So when I'm after one of my bad dreams, my bad nights, I wake up and Helena reassures me who I am. I put on the headphones, I lie down, I'll watch it, and I'll go back to sleep laughing.
That's great.
I might go back into another horrific dream, but before I go back into it, I'll go into it laughing. Make sure you have a comedy, make sure you have music you like, make sure that you have something that you can look at, listen to, and hear something from the past that would make you laugh. that will make you happier, that will comfort you. You know, it's like, how do you put the baby to sleep?
That's right.
Their favorite lullaby.
Very good. Oh, Kevin, that's just tremendous advice. A little laughter will bring, a little joy every day is what all of us need. So I want to thank Kevin for sharing all of the significant challenges that you've had experiencing, RBD. But as I conclude, as we kind of come to our end here, I want to share one more important note. And that's, please, those living with Lewy body dementia should not take any medication or any sleep-inducing substances without first seeking the advice of your physician. Even those considered, whether it be natural, organic, sold over the counter, everything should be cleared by your physician. So those with LBD can be extremely sensitive to drugs, or they may interact with your existing medications or cause significant side effects. So now that we're done, I want to thank everybody for attending today's session, and we wish you a great remainder of your day. Thanks, Kevin. Bye-bye.
Talk to you guys later.